Hey, everybody. It's the Bro Plata podcast on everything you can find. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Anchor FM. And in the future, you will be able to help us out. Yeah, I'm going to be setting that up soon through our Anchor FM page for donations because we're poor. And
we are poor.
We are lovely poor people. I am Ray Hyclak. And next to me, if I can go this way with my hands, next to me is the bearded MMA Jesus himself, former mixed martial arts fighter, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Danko, everybody. Timmy Danko.
That's me, former MMA fighter with a miraculous record of 0 wins and 1 loss. That means I know everything. That pretty much means I'm an expert.
Oh, it means that you should be, honestly.
Everything I say is true. Everything is true.
You need an Annex job. I need Rogan's. That's right. We're going balls deep on this first episode. Making demands.
I like it, man.
I do too. Because honestly, our voices need to be heard. God damn it. Our voices.
Yeah, we're straight white men. We need to be heard. More straight white men need to be heard in this world.
Why aren't we marching? I'll tell you why. The Illuminati is making all the frogs gay. That's what's going on.
All right. Now that we got that down.
Why not? It was a good little improv while it started. I like it. This is the Bro Plata podcast. It's an MMA podcast run by 2 comedians, one a casual white belt, and the other one, he's been in an MMA fight before. And we are just going to be, what was that?
One whole fight.
One fight. I want one fight before I turn 35.
You should do it. I did it, and I'm glad I did it. I got the full experience. It was fun. Yeah. I didn't win, but I had a decent fight. I felt like I should have won. It was my fault. I made mistakes, but it was fun. I got the whole experience. I did some trash talking before and after. That was fun. I even yelled at the ref at one point. Like, I got the whole experience, man. We'll talk about that at some point, too. We'll break down my whole fight. I'm trying to find that video. I'm going to find it.
Well, we definitely need that video. Because I want to break that down on the podcast live while we're watching.
Yeah, me too. Because I haven't seen it before. So it's been 7 years, and I haven't seen the video. So I don't even know where to find it, man. I've been trying to ask some people, but I know it exists. But we'll find it.
Well, hopefully we can get that on the Bro Plata podcast. You can also find us at Bro Plata across your social media stuff. Why am I even talking like this? I talk like every time. I'm going to just break a wall right here. For some reason, every time I just need to be Mr. Radio Guy.
Dude, it's cool, man. The more of these we'll do, the more, casual get, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be cool, man.
Sure.
I'm drinking beers. I'm sitting in my basement. We're about to talk fights.
Hell yeah. UFC 251 coming up tomorrow. We are recording this on a Thursday, but this episode's coming out on a Friday. And me and Tim are big MMA fans. I have been.
It's the podcast.
It's the podcast, sir.
Hence the podcast.
I've actually been to a few UFC events, so you guys can get to know us while you're watching this. I was at UFC 203, and then also I was at UFC 210. And I'll post pictures from UFC 210 on our Instagram if you want to go to that. And Tim has trained. How long have you been training martial arts?
Dude, I've been training it a long time. I'm not going to even pretend like I do it anymore. Okay. I haven't in a long time. But I did for like a year or two, maybe casually. Like anyone that has trained with me is going to say Danko doesn't know shit, which is true. I really don't know shit. I knew just enough to be like, you know what? I'm going to get in the cage one time and act like a jackass and pretend like I knew what I was doing. That's about it, man. But I've been following it a long time, man. I've been really into it maybe about 10 years or so since my buddy started fighting. And I haven't been to one UFC. I've been to a Bellator card. I've been to tons of local events. When those start happening again, we'll definitely talk about those. But, yeah, a bunch of local ones, one Bellator card. And, I don't miss many pay-per-views, though, man. I'm excited for tomorrow, Saturday.
Saturday is going to be a fantastic card. I'm amazed at how this thing came together more than I am – like the fact that it's happening and Fight Island is a real thing. It's more the main event that I go, holy shit, this was able to be done that quickly. Get everybody tested.
Right?
Dude, it's nuts. 6 Oh, continue.
Yeah. No, so we're gonna talk about that, man. The original main event was Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns, his training partner, right? And Gilbert Burns gets the COVID-19. He gets a positive for COVID-19 apparently, and he's out. So
Yeah.
a week before the fight, your main event, even though there's 3 title fights, still a good card, but your main event, Usman, looks like he's out. However, Game Bread, Jorge Masvidal, Street Jesus, gets the call, gets his ducats. Even he'd been holding out because he wants some more paper. And last minute fight, they're like, all right, we'll give you closer to what you want. Here's your ducats. So he's going 5 days notice from Florida to Abu Dhabi, where Fight Island is, to do this fight. And it's the fight everyone wanted to see to begin with, man. I'm much more excited for this than I was for the Burns fight, even though it's short notice, man. Masvidal, Usman, pumped as hell, dude.
Dude, I cannot wait for this fight. This fight to me, like, this is a culmination of a lot of things, especially in the welterweight division. I had to look at that for a second because I'm high, everybody. Yeah. But in the welterweight division, I mean, this fight is something that, like, we'll be telling our kids about this fight for decades. Like, this is going to be one of those fights where nobody won't forget. Whoever puts money down for this fight is getting probably one of the best once in a lifetime experiences you can ever see, which is, one, they're going to be fighting on a beach, which is epic. 2, you got a guy in Masvidal who just came off of probably one of his biggest career wins ever, winning that BMF belt against, and decisively. I mean, I was kind of angry they stopped it, but he beat Nate Diaz via referee stoppage and just pounded the fuck out of him for 15 or 20 straight minutes almost. And
yeah, it was a bummer. The stoppage was a bummer because he had that cut, right?
Yeah,
but he was winning that fight decisively. So,
oh yeah, Masvidal was definitely ahead on the cards anyway, but at the same time, it was a fight that nobody can really, say didn't have a definitive finish, and the way he did it, earned this title fight. I mean, there's, without a doubt, nobody in my opinion, nobody earned a title fight more after a win like Jorge Masvidal, because of the fact that he's been fighting. He goes back to the old street fight days of Kimbo Slice, when those videos would go on YouTube.
Right, I mean, man. I just watched his fight with that Ray guy.
I know.
REY.
I know. It's funny to me that, like, he beat up a dude named Ray in the backyard of Florida. And you're just like, oh yes, this is so satisfying, man.
Yeah, man. No, I was just gonna say, Masvidal, a journeyman for a long time, man, but he's put it together ever since he moved up to like 170 in the last year or two, especially. I think it was maybe 2017, I can't remember, but when he lost Stephen Thompson, that was his last loss. But since then, he knocked out Darren Till as a big underdog. He knocked out Ben Askren as a big underdog. Then he beat up Diaz. So those are 3 monsters he beat. So of course he's going to be the guy to get the shot. And originally he was the guy before Burns they wanted to give it to, but like we said, there's contract issues. I don't blame him for it. I don't blame anyone to try to get their ducats, man. But because this fight fell through, and it's 5 days notice, they're like, okay, we'll give you closer to what you want to come save this card, quote unquote, save this card. And man, I'm excited as hell, man. They're both killers.
Oh yeah, dude. And especially, I mean, Kamaru Usman coming off of the big win against Tyron Woodley to get the belt, and then to go up against Mr. MAGA out of nowhere and like just break his jaw. He broke his fucking jaw, dude.
Watch that fight again. Great fight.
I'm gonna rewatch that probably before the fight, before the fights on Saturday, and I'm very excited to see what this powder keg of a main event is gonna be, man. Because both these guys, there's a video that I just watched on Facebook a couple weeks ago of the first interaction between Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman, where Masvidal is just looking him dead in the face, telling him he's a bitch, all these kind of things. And Usman's getting worked up, man. And that's going to be a thing that, as the rounds go on, it's going to be shit talk after shit talk.
Right.
And I got Masvidal.
Really?
Yeah, I got Masvidal.
If we're doing picks right now, I'm going to go with Usman. And I was going to say the animosity.
I meant on the mental war. I meant on the mental war.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say the animosity between these guys, it's real. Like, there's some guys like, I don't know, with Chael Sonnen would talk shit about everybody. He didn't really hate anybody. He's just selling a fight, and he's better at it than anyone, right? But these guys legitimately don't like each other, which is great. And then Jorge Masvidal is one of those guys that I would actually be afraid of. Like, if he was crossing the street, if we were walking down the same sidewalk, I'd cross the street if he was coming my way because I'm actually afraid of him. Like, I feel like if he's having a bad day, he might punch a stranger. I don't think he really would, but I'm saying he's a scary dude.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that makes him so exciting. And as he said he's going to, what he likes to say, he's going to baptize.
Yeah.
Right? With his fist. And Usman said he's going to bless Masvidal with his fist. So they're both going for knockouts, and it's fun. But honestly, I already gave away my pick. I'm picking Usman.
Okay.
Because the wrestling. He has the wrestling ability to possibly just ragdoll Masvidal for 5 rounds. That's my guess. What's going to happen? I'd love to see him stand and bang for the whole time. But I think if Usman wants to, he can just control it wrestling, which is what Askren was planning on doing. But Askren also got kneed in the face and put to sleep. So Usman's going to try to avoid that. And as long as he can avoid that, because I think both these guys could probably knock each other out. I don't think there's any doubt of that.
Oh, for sure.
But I think the more skillful guy, it's probably Usman, especially the wrestling, man. If you don't have that kind of wrestling, I guess the guy who does have that kind of wrestling, you're going to have a tough day. And not saying Masvidal doesn't have takedown defense, but Usman's tough, man. He's real tough. So that's why I got Usman. I'm really excited for the fight. And Masvidal's a big underdog, too. I think he's like a 3-1 underdog right now.
Let me look at the betting odds right here. Do I have the betting odds? Let me see. I do not.
I think he was like plus 260 the last time I checked.
Ooh. Yeah. And my thing is, like, I agree with you on the thing, but I am going to pick Masvidal just because he's literally on a tear right now, and he's laser focused for that title. He may have that BMF trophy, but he wants that gold, man.
The real one, man. It'd be fun if he wins, man. It would not bother me in the slightest, man, if he wins. Like, just because I'm guessing Usman doesn't mean I don't want Masvidal to win. Actually, I like them both, man. I just think it's going to be a good fight, and I'm excited for it, man. But I would not be surprised at all if Masvidal knocks his ass out, because I didn't think he'd knock out Askren. I didn't think he'd knock out Till.
See, I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna knock out Askren just because of how quick and how smart he is with his striking. You do bring up the point of the grappling, though. Like, there was a couple years ago, I think it was him, Masvidal and Showtime did a grappling match. It was in a ring. They had all kind of, they had like a ring set up for it and everything. And Showtime was kind of getting Masvidal on the ground, but Jorge was able to his jiu-jitsu was good enough where he was kind of able to get to top position on Showtime, Anthony Pettis. But I do think that Kamaru Usman, if this goes to the ground, will win this. But I'm going to say it right now. Street Jesus is my guy for the main event, just because even though I think this is going to at least go 4 rounds, and it's going to go to at least a TKO or KO situation if it goes to the 4th round. If Usman gets him down, it may be over in the 1st. We don't know. I mean, that's the thing. But I don't see that. I see this at least going 4 rounds. Like, this has to go 4 rounds.
Yeah. I'm going to guess decision.
Okay.
I'm just going to take a guess decision. I think that was one of the questions. I did the ESPN pick'ems now before we started, and they give you pick the fights, and then they also give you random questions. One of them was when that fight will end, I think. And I think I said it would go the distance. Another one was how many fights on the main card, or the 5, do you think will be ended with a TKO or KO? And I said 0.
Okay.
And, that's my guess. I think they're all going to go the distance.
Okay.
That's my guess. Because these are really good matchups. And, I mean, there's people who can't finish. Namajunas and Andres, they had to finish for 4. That's going to be a good fight. I'm excited for that fight.
That's going to be a wild-ass fight because of the fact that this is a rematch. I mean, remember what Jessica Andrade did to Rose Namajunas, dumped her on her head, and then made Rose realize, oh, yeah, I'd rather not be champion.
Yeah, that was a strange thing. Apparently, I mean, that makes sense. I'm assuming if, no one really knew who Rose was until she beat Joanna and Jacek the first time, right? And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, boom, she's a star. She's huge, right? And she
Yeah.
did beat her again. And I'm sure maybe she put extra pressure on herself maybe that first time. So maybe there was – she said it was a weight off her shoulders. I understand that. But it's also a strange thing to say after you just got knocked out.
I chalk that
Maybe it
up
wasn't
to
a
head trauma.
Yeah, it wasn't a great – well, I wouldn't blame her. She did – I mean, if you didn't see it, everyone, it's great. She Namajunas was winning the fight. She was doing well. And then Andreas just, picked her up and slammed her on her head. Just dumped her straight in her head, and right away she's knocked out cold, which is a great knockout. It's awesome. But I feel a bit terrified, man, because, I know they weigh the same. But if you look at how they're built, Andreas is built like a pit bull.
Oh yeah, she's a fucking.
She's a tank.
She's a Rottweiler in a Chihuahua's body. I mean, she's like
a 5'1", 115-pound fullback. Like that's she's built like a tank, man, for sure.
Who's that small guy that used to play for the Patriots?
Danny Woodhead, Darren Sproles.
That might have been. He was on the. I know he was on their like Super Bowl teams, and he was like one of their smaller like receivers.
Was he a white guy?
Yeah, a little short.
Danny Woodhead was pretty small.
I'm trying to think.
Wes Welker. They had a bust.
Wes Welker. That's what I'm thinking.
He never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He never won a Super Bowl, but he was with. I think he played in a few because he played with.
I thought he played with the Patriots when they.
He did, but they didn't win one with him. Almost positive.
Was that the New York Giants one?
Maybe. Must have been. But yeah, Danny Woodhead, Darren Sproles, who I think still in the NFL, is like 5'7". He's tiny.
Jesus.
But anyway, yeah. Jessica's a little tank, man. And Rose is built a bit differently, man. She's tiny, but she's tough. Her new head coach, she was with Trevor Whitman, right?
I believe so. Yeah, Trevor was with her for a good portion of her career.
Yeah, and she's still with them a bit, but I think she did most of her camp in Minnesota with her fiance Pat Barry.
Yeah,
they had the same haircut, the same shave haircut. I'm gonna say this, man. I know some ladies who can pull that off. Rose is not one of them, man.
No.
Love Rose to death. She's great. But, man, she looks like an 8-year-old boy, man, with that haircut. Seriously. I wouldn't mess with her. Would not mess with her. She's a tough fighter. She's fun to watch. But, man, yeah, man, she looks like a paper boy. She does, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling it. I understand she has that Pat Barry haircut, man. And I know I'm rambling, man, but every time.
No, she can't pull off the Sinead, dude. Like, she cannot
pull off the Sinead. No. Not everyone can, man. Some people can. Some people can't. I just saw on the internet.
Didn't she also do that to make weight? Like she actually cut her. I thought she cut her. The legend is she cut her off. She cut off her hair because she needed like point. She needed like point something to get to something. So she just shaved her head.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a bunch of hair, and if I was in this situation, I'd probably if I went naked, and still wasn't quite there. I guess that's the next option, right? Shave your head. Yeah. But I just want to say this while we're talking about Pat Barry. Every time I talk about Pat Barry, I think of that amazing fight he had with that French action figure, Czech Congo.
Oh, my God, yeah.
If anyone who hasn't seen that fight, look it up, the Czech Congo Pat Barry fight. Basically what happened is Pat Barry legally killed Czech Congo with a punch. He was dead. And then somehow, Czech Congo resurrected himself within 8 seconds, right? And then the reanimated corpse of Czech Congo then knocked out Pat Barry.
Yeah,
he was knocked out by the zombie of the French action figure Czech Congo. And it's one of the craziest comebacks you'll ever see. I think most refs would have stopped that fight, but he didn't. And you just see him wobble. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he was legally dead, but the zombie came back and beat Pat Barry. And it's one of my favorite fights of all time. But he is the head coach now of Rose Namajunas, and he's a great kickboxer. So
yeah.
That's why her kickboxing is great. One of the reasons, Whitman and also Pat Barry knows what he's doing.
All right, I'm going to put the camera on you again, my friend. Who do you got for this one?
Rose. I got Rose, man.
You got Rose.
Yes. I mean, Andreas is tough, man, but I think the more skill is Thug Rose. You got the more skill. And I'm really excited, man. I'm excited for her to win this fight. And then, I mean, this is a title eliminator, right?
Yeah. I believe whoever gets this fights I can't remember her.
Weili Zhang.
Weili Zhang.
Yeah.
Their fight. Whoever wins this basically gets a fight. Andrade, she gets a rematch out of this, and if Rose goes, this could be the time. This could be her second title win if she goes into that. I don't think though that Weili Zhang is going to be going anywhere anytime soon as champion in the women's strawweight division. but it's definitely going to be an interesting fight for sure.
Yeah, no, because Rose beat Joanna twice, and Joanna and Wei Lee had that awesome fight a few months ago. But I mean, even if they wanted to fight, where is she? Is she in China? I don't even know if she'll be able to. She is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I have no idea if she'll be able to get out, even if they wanted to fight eventually the next few months.
Yeah. It's one of those, this is one of those kind of like weird moments in fighting where, not everything's certain, just we know that the next card's coming up. That's the one thing I like about what's going on right now.
Right. Oh, nothing in the world is certain right now, except the only thing that is is that UFC's probably going to keep doing cards.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome the way they're able to do it. The first time they went to Florida, because Florida said, come on down, we'll get this done. And then they were able to do the cards in Vegas, and now they're in Abu Dhabi for the international fights, because the international fighters, right, can't get out. Most of them can't get into the U.S. Sorry, they can't get into the U.S., but they can get to Abu Dhabi. So they're doing these fights at Abu Dhabi. And there's 3 this week, right? There's 2 fight this Saturday, a fight Wednesday, and then a fight Saturday, the next Saturday.
I believe so. Let's look it up on the computing machine. Yes, Wednesday, 172. Calvin Cater's on that card versus Dan Inge, which is going to be a great main event.
Yeah.
And then we got Davician Figueiredo taking on Joseph Benavidez. That's for I believe that's for the flyweight title, no?
Yeah, because they fought before, and he didn't make weight.
Yeah.
So he couldn't, and he won. He knocked Benavidez out. So they're going to do that again. I'll watch it. I'm not super excited, man. Honestly, I don't know if I'll be excited for flyweights for a while, man. I hope they prove me wrong, but I really don't think be super excited. I wouldn't be surprised, because I know they talked about it before Cejudo got huge. They thought about just dumping the division. And I wouldn't be surprised, man.
And
that's not a super deep division. They don't have any big stars. I mean, but I don't know. I can name maybe a few flyweights.
Yeah. I can only probably, besides Joseph Benavidez, that's the only real guy I know anymore, because Cejudo's out. And then you got, Mighty Mouse is over in one FC. So, and to me, honestly, he was the division. Like, if you wanted to build something around, that was the guy to build it on. It's just, like you just said, it's a very shallow division.
Right.
And it sucks, because I wish there wasn't this this kind of, place to be. I wish it was more of a place to be in the 125, because the smaller divisions are always the more fun ones. I mean, you can go even back to boxing. Victor Archinian's really the last lightweight boxer I can remember on a super low division. He was in the 112s, I believe. Like he was in the 112 division at like super flyweight and all these kind of but he was just a savage too. If anybody remembers Victor Archinian, yeah, baby. He always, what I love too about him is when he would throw and like do his wincing, it sounded like he was in pain every time. Just like, hey. Like, this is very small, diminutive man, but could just brutalize his opponents. Let's get back real quick, my friend, because to the card that never ends, UFC 251. We got 2 more title fights also on this card besides the main event that we just talked about. And I want to save the bantamweight one for last, just because we're talking about a legend and where he's going to go after this. But we have a co-main event, Alexander Volkanovski, the featherweight champion of the world, taking on Max Holloway, the man he beat. And to me, this is going to be, I hope Max comes out with more fire and brimstone than he did in the last fight, because wasn't Volkanovski he was almost in charge the entire fight? Yeah,
he was. I think Holloway said maybe thought he won the fight. I didn't think it was even close.
No,
I mean, he didn't get destroyed, but there was definitely a winner in that fight, and it was Volkanovski. Man. Holloway's, I don't know, man. He hasn't lost in a long time. We'll see coming off a loss how he's feeling. He did say that he had a weird training. Everyone has a weird training camp right now, but he said he did a lot of it on Zoom. I don't know how true that is. Volkanovski said he didn't believe it, that he was just making that up. His odds went down. when he said that. Like he said, I think he was like a plus 185, and he said he only trained on Zoom, and he's up to like a 230 or something.
That's hilarious.
But no, he'll be ready, man. It'll be no surprise. I would be surprised if he wasn't.
Well, what do you?
His game, man. He's game.
I'm hoping. I mean, Max Holloway is one of my favorite guys to watch in the UFC. I mean, you look at a lot of the beating Aldo twice, and dismantling him in the second one, especially. I think that was sort of the coming out party for Max Holloway when it came to skill and came to just straight up knowing how to. Again, sativa is wonderful, people. But like you saw this different side to Max Holloway that we didn't really see. We saw earlier in the UFC history, I believe at UFC 200-ish, to one of the 200s. It was when he stood and just had this. He pointed at the center of the octagon and swung. I forget who he fought against for that one. Leave in the comments for me because I'm an idiot. So, but
I can't remember either.
Yeah, but Max has had some violent wars. I mean, at this point, I think if he was in UFC 3, his longevity meter would be at like 10%, maybe 20%, because of how he's been, man. And I honestly think the last fight didn't really come out with a lot of fire, didn't really come out with a lot of stuff. And hopefully, because Volkanovski looked like he was just ready to kill in that fight. He was determined, whatever other buzzwords you want to say, but he led that fight for, I would say, 4 rounds. And Max had maybe some sparks of brilliance, but nothing really that could, give him the win. I mean, it's a sad thing to say. And it's definitely, you look at this fight, 21-5 Max Holloway taking on 21-1 Alexander Volkanovski. To me, this is basically a pick'em fight at this point because Max has had some time off, Volkanovski's had some time off, and they're really deciding where they're gonna go. What do you think like this fight's gonna be?
Well, I mean, this is definitely a fight that needed to happen, right? Because Holloway was a champion forever. He won like 8 in a row, or how many? More than that. I forget how many it was. A lot.
Yeah, he was up there doing Anderson Silva numbers.
Yeah, he had a lot in a row, and he's a champion, and he loses the decision. So yeah, the rematch should happen, and I'm glad it's happening. Volkanovski's a tank, man. He has those tree trunk legs, and that's what he was doing the first fight. He was hacking at Max's legs, and that had was a problem. Max is more of a striker. It's not like he's going to use those for wrestling. He doesn't really do that too much, but I'm excited to see it again, man. It was close enough the first time. We'll see how they come out, man. I forget who I picked. I did. I forgot who I picked. I can give you a pick now, but I'm not sure if I think I pick Holloway.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go with the American, man. I still like Holloway. I like these guys both a lot, and it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a decision. We'll see if Max can turn it around. Hopefully he is in shape, man. He said some weird stuff about his camp, but hopefully he's ready to go, man. I'm sure he'll be ready to go, man, pumped up.
Well, I mean, also Max Holloway said he learned some kind of move off of a UFC video game, I think it was, on like Rogan, didn't he? He said he learned like
I don't know. I saw that interview, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but it's definitely going to be one of those this is going to be one of those fights where you're like, yes, please be violent as hell. I want you to be violent. All right. I
hope so.
And now is going to be a fun one when it comes to this discussion that we're going to have. The legend, Jose Aldo, dropping down 10 or no, he's going 135. Yeah, he's going to his home division right after, or no, he's going down 1.
Yeah,
going down 1. Again, it's hot and it's big. But he's going down 1 from 145 to 135. After Cejudo decided he didn't want to do anything anymore. And the proverbial take your ball and go home, but he just decided to retire. Jose Aldo's going for another title against a guy that I'm kind of afraid for Jose Aldo's well-being, especially after beating Uriah Faber the way he did. and just demolishing, Uriah Faber, Petr Yan, if you will. I think Aldo is going to have at least an experience advantage, and that's going to help. But Petr Yan's a savage, man. Like, Petr Yan's a motherfucker. I can't believe how, like, quick and he can really go. And I hope that this fight, goes at least 3. I don't want this to go less than 2, to be honest with you.
I don't think it will, man. I mean, yeah, Jan is tough. I agree with you, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up and he looked great. However, I'm not super impressed with the resume he has so far, and that's not really his fault. It's the fights he had. He did beat up Uriah Faber, who's a super tough dude, but he's also an old man in fighter years.
Yeah.
Right? He's like 40, 41, something like that. Right? He's past his prime. He's a legend, but he's past his prime. Right?
Yes.
And Aldo, you have a legend who's I think it's 33, which I didn't realize he was that young. I thought he was like 38. He's only 33.
Yeah.
Right? And this is his second fight at bantamweight. His first fight, he fought Marlon, how do you say his last name? Moraes?
Marlon Moraes, yeah.
Rice. And he lost the decision. But anyone who watched that fight, except for 2 of the 3 judges, thought that Aldo had that fight. I thought he had that fight. He looked really good against someone who's super tough. Like he's the number 1 contender in the bantamweight division still.
Yeah.
And they gave him Aldo when Aldo came to bantamweight division. It was the first fight they gave him. And he did great. I mean, he didn't get the decision, but he did great. That's why they gave him the title shot against Cejudo. Because also Cejudo called for it. He wanted Aldo. And that's why he's in it now. Because he got hurt. Cruz stepped up and fought Cejudo. Cejudo beat Cruz. But now that the title's vacant, they gave Aldo a shot because they were going to give him one anyway.
Yeah.
So he's getting a shot again. And Jan's earned it, man. But I would like him. He hasn't fought one of the top 5 guys. He didn't fight.
Yeah, he has. He absolutely has.
Fight?
I'm looking it up right now.
Who's he fought? Has he fought
last
Sandhagen?
3 fights?
Has he fought Sterling?
No, but he's fought John Dodson, a former contender. He's beaten John Dodson in a 3-round decision.
Okay.
And then also he beat Jimmy Rivera in a decision as well.
That's probably his best win, Jimmy Rivera. That's probably the best win.
For sure. I mean, he's come off some
I'm not saying he shouldn't get the shot. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'll believe the hype when he beats Aldo.
Yeah.
He beats Aldo. There you go. I picked Aldo. I'm picking Aldo. I think Aldo still got something going. I think he's the best guy he's faced by a lot. Rivera's really good, but I think Aldo still got something in him. And what he did against Marlon, I could tell he's still ready to go. He can still fight. And I don't know why he wasn't fighting bantamweight the whole time, if this is true, but he says he feels so much better at bantamweight. He could just be talking. I don't know. He said his first cut was really good when he fought Marlon, but I think he's got good stuff. Jan, let's say, I believe the hype if he beats Aldo. You know, I'm not buying it yet because, I mean, I saw him decisions against some tough guys. And he did finish Faber. Like I said, Faber's an old fighter, man. Now he's past his prime. Rivera was good. I mean, there's guys like Sterling and Sandhagen and Garbrandt who he hasn't fought. Yeah. Right? And those are jumps up. Rivera's good. I mean, those are jumps up. So he's making a pretty big jump with Aldo, I think. So we'll see, man. If Aldo shows up and looks anything like what he could look like. Another thing is, though, I mean, you look at this card, and Aldo's lost twice to Holloway, who's fighting the featherweight championship, and he lost once to Volkanovski. He's lost fights. However, like I say, he looked good in his last fight, and there's been times when Jose Aldo's looked unstoppable in his career. Yeah. And he's not done. I mean, he's 33. He's not 38 or 40 like Faber, man. He's still got something. I think he's going to have a good fight. I think he's going to beat on.
My thing is, I agree with you when it comes to that Aldo is a motherfucker. I get that, but there's this kid, and I'm not deifying this kid either. I'm not saying that he is the uncrowned champion, because he does have a long way to go. Like, Petr Yan is only 27. He's 6 years younger than Aldo going into this fight. My thing is after that Faber fight, there's a laser focus after you knock a legend out like that. And I think, honestly, that I've got Aldo as well. Just based on experience, I'm picking Aldo just based on the experience level and how to go 5 rounds for a title. Aldo knows how to do that. Petr Yan is going into this with no experience whatsoever. And even though he does have that focus, you might get some cage fear in there as well that can kind of keep him from really, going to that next level. But what I saw against Jimmy Rivera and what I saw against Uriah Faber shows me this kid is ready for at least an eliminator. And to throw him to Aldo, great test for him as well, because if he can survive Aldo for 5 rounds, it'll still go to Aldo just because it's Jose Aldo without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is going to be one of those like beginner steps for Peter Yan to become this great fighter in the UFC, because he is only 27. He still has such a long way to go. But yeah, I'm definitely going to pick Jose Aldo for this one. And it's going to be an interesting fight to watch, because I'm thinking, this will probably either go – Aldo could put this out for a decision, because I think, honestly, that would be the best way to kind of show I'm back, is taking this kid into deep waters, getting on the ground with him, using those strikes that I know Jose Aldo has. I'm not a big fan of Jose Aldo, but I'm going to pick him in this fight. Just based on the fact that he is such a savage. Like, I can't deny that.
Right. I mean, how many title fights has he had?
Oh God.
A lot.
Didn't he hold the record at one point?
Right. And then he's also lost some. My point is, he's had a lot of 5-round fights.
Yeah.
And a lot of camps getting ready for 5-round fights. Yan, this is his first one. He's had a couple 3-rounders. He hasn't had a 5-round fight. They're not saying he's not going to be ready physically. I'm sure he will be.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a pro fighter. I don't know what the crowd does for someone's adrenaline or adrenaline dub. I don't know. My guess would be when you're in there, the cameras are on you, the lights are on you, and you have one of the best in the world, it probably doesn't make too much of a difference. That's my guess. I know some of the fighters are saying that maybe. Some guys are saying maybe it's keeping them from maybe making mistakes because they're not getting overamped.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be much of a factor. But he hasn't had a big title fight like this before. Aldo has had a bunch. I'm not saying that Yan is not the next great guy, for sure. But I said I don't know yet. So I'm going with Aldo for sure. And I'm also going to be pulling for Aldo. I like Aldo a good bit.
Oh, yeah.
And, we'll see if he can get – also, then I want to see, who's next. I guess it would be Sterling. I guess Sterling's going to get the next fight no matter what, I guess. I already said. I think he should have this fight, Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, I agree.
After choking out Corey Sandhagen in the first round like he did. He should be fighting now. I understand he gave out the fight before, and then he couldn't have it because he got hurt. He didn't want to take it away from him. But, man, Sterling should be there, I think. But he's going to get the next shot, I'm pretty sure. So, man, that should be interesting. That's if he doesn't I don't think he will, but he did say on Twitter that he would take that Frankie Edgar fight next week.
Oh, yeah. That would be a good thing. What do you think, by the way, since we're going to stay on we're staying on the topic of 251, with the testing, we also found out that one of Masvidal's coaches tested positive. Right? What did you think about that news when you saw it?
It sucks, but I mean that's what they're trying to do, right? They test everybody. They have to, and but he said he's fine, so that's good. They're doing what they're supposed to do: quarantine him, not let him go. I mean, it sucks, right? But it sucks for Masvidal. But I mean, he has other guys, and he'll be okay.
Well, my friend, we're going to make a quick rundown of the predictions. I've already put them up and in the editing that we've done previously, because obviously I control the editing. Ha ha ha, everybody. Let's go down the card. And also, have you seen a pay-per-view, since we're getting on the subject, have you seen a besides Volkan Ozdemir in the prelims, this one is a bit weird because there are not a lot of known fighters outside of maybe a few hardcores. What do you think about like prelims like that, where like no one is on the card? Are you one of those people that's like, I could give a shit less, or are you that guy where it's like anything can happen? Because I love those kind of cards myself.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm excited. I'm going to learn about some new fighters this weekend, right? A lot of the foreign guys, there's not a ton of Americans in the prelim. There's some, but a lot of guys from countries whose flags I don't recognize, right? They put the flag next to their picture. I'm like, not quite sure what that one is, right? There's a bunch of those. So I'm going to get to see some fighters I haven't seen before and get to hear about them. I'm sure some of them have had fights in the UFC before. Maybe I've even seen a couple of them, but I'm going to learn about some new guys we don't really know. And I'm sure there'll be good fights. I mean, they're in the UFC, right? They're on this card. They brought them out to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
To fight with no crowd, that's not a cheap thing. So obviously they got skills, and these are going to be good fights. They don't mess around with matchmaking. So man, no, the answer is I'm excited for sure. Got to learn about some new fighters, man. And of course, they're going to be good fights. I watch all the fights.
Oh, for sure. Anytime a fight's on, it's always I'm one of those guys that absolutely adores whenever you don't know anybody on a card, or it's like a very low key kind of prelim or something like that, because they always turn out to be these knockout and submission fests that are just like, how the fuck? Whoa, right. Jesus Christ. And even if you miss one, the highlights are even as impressive on those unknown cards because of the fact that they are actually like, they want to be known. They want that highlight finish. And, I like having those kind of finishes or these kind of cards because it'll be, as you just said, I get to learn about some new fighters and actually see, who we got. And it's an interesting time, definitely, to watch it for sure. Because
there's
oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's always a lot of bonuses that come out of those fights too, right? Because those guys are trying to make names for themselves, right? So you get a lot of good subs and knockouts, right? Of guys trying to make names for themselves, especially guys. I don't know how many on this card, but guys who have like their first couple fights, they're only making like 10 and 10 grand for the fight, right?
Yeah.
And you see guys that could, I think that happened recently. A guy made his debut and got a $50,000 bonus, right? So he's thinking maybe you get 10 or 20 grand, and now his life has changed. It's the biggest payday he's ever had, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a big deal. It's really cool to see stuff like that. And also, I mean, you see guys that have great skills, and you're going to wonder where the hell they've been hiding these guys. And the answer is they haven't really been trying to been hiding them.
Yeah, no.
Right? They just been on other cards or, in other countries, so they haven't been able to fight the last few months. But, yeah, man, it's excited.
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, I'm pumped for UFC 251. And especially with the idea that Fight Island is finally happening. They've been talking about it for, ever since at least the pandemic started. And what a better guy to do it than a guy who does already look like he has his own volcano island in Dana White. I mean, this is without a doubt the funnest thing. And I love the name because it's just Yas Island. And that's going to be a thing with us from now on. Anytime that comes on, it'll just be Yas Island. Yeah. But no, man, I'm excited. I'm pumped because this is, especially with the news of adding Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman. You couldn't ask for a more take my money scenario than these two guys coming off of such massive wins in their own respective rights and just kind of making statements, especially Kamaru Usman, who made a statement against Colby Covington that he wasn't to be fucked with. Jorge Masvidal just showed, he's a street Jesus motherfucker, and it's going to be an insane night of fights on Saturday night just because of that idea. You know what I'm saying? This whole card just writes its own self. If this was a movie, you couldn't write it any better because of just, again, 6 days notice for our main event. And then the other two main events are just savage to begin with. UFC definitely outdid themselves, and they usually do for their July cards. Their July cards are always the most fun because it's supposed to be fight week, and they're going to put on, UFC 200, for God's sake, with that gold mat. How many TJ Dillashaw was on the prelim card that night? So July is always a great month for fighting, especially for the UFC, because that's when they just basically throw the bomb at us and say, catch it. If you can't, watch the next one, motherfucker. Like, it's epic. And I'm so glad they continue doing fights in the UFC because people need entertainment. Sure. People need entertainment, dude. For sure. And also, what was that?
I said I've been watching golf, man, because there's nothing else on. So I haven't missed any of these fights.
Oh God, and you're near Firestone, which is, you're closer than I am to Firestone.
Kinda.
But yeah, man, I've been not really watching that much outside of UFC, and maybe the occasional WWE show or AEW because that's on. But like when it comes to thing, I also hate CNN right now. We'll end our show on this on a little debate because I kind of CNN made a little bit of a mess. How can I put this? Error. I'm going to say it. CNN, you made an error. Saying that the National Women's Soccer League was the first American sports league to start up in the country. And I'm like, and nobody makes mention of UFC. Nobody makes mention of that. And I think that's kind of BS.
I don't know. I mean, they're an international sports league, but they've been having all their shows in the U.S. until Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's incorrect. But has CNN been wrong before?
Multiple times.
Maybe. Maybe.
Terry, would you like a Fresca?
Would you know? Maybe.
Fresca does sound good. It sounds wonderful, my friend. Well, Tim, we're going to cut this at right now. We're going to do our little outro on the first episode of the Bro Plata podcast. We do have one other one that we recorded from UFC 250.
Yeah, we'll call that episode 0.
That's what it's actually going to be called. But go check that out. We are on YouTube. Just type in Bro Plata, like Go Plata, the actual move in jiu-jitsu. That's how you can find our lovely pages, and it'll be across the entire spectrum of the internet under @Bro Plata. Tim, what's your social medias so we can get you, so they can get and follow you in your pretty life? Because everybody wants to follow this sexy man right here.
At Dig Danko, DIGDANKO.
At Dig Danko, we will put that underneath his face. And then you can also follow me at Ray Hyclak across everything. I actually have a TikTok now, so that's a little bit of a dangerous.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. I'm moving up in the world. And
Look out.
And I'll be posting clips from this on TikTok and all those different places. And we'll have clips as well. So if you can't listen to the entire show in one sitting, we will have clips up. And that'll start tomorrow, or as we're recording, this will start Friday. And we'll be doing these before every UFC event and talk about each one. So you guys can get Bro plotted in your life, and your shoulder may hurt, but at the same time, that's what a Bro Plata does, motherfucker. It gets you. Or am I thinking a different move? Because
I'm thinking Om Plata.
That's
Om Plata. Go Plata. This one.
Yeah,
the shin choke. Shin choke, man.
That's right.
Bro Plata is doing a shin choke while you're checking Jaeger bombs. That's a Bro Plata.
Absolutely. And we also have to throw PBR in there because it's cheaper.
Or PBR, yeah, whatever.
So
Bro drinks.
Oh, hell yeah. And if you wanna hit us up, again, it's at Bro Plata. And we will see you Monday for our breakdown. We'll be doing those every Monday because after Saturday cards, you will get a Monday breakdown from us from everything that happened. So we will definitely be doing that. And we appreciate everybody watching and listening. Once again, find us on Anchor FM, Spotify, iTunes, shit in the fillings of your teeth if you got them. We'll be everywhere for you to enjoy. And I'm Ray Hyclak, and you can. I'm so fun on my intro, but
good, brother. Good.
You can always follow us on @Bro Plata. I'm Ray Hyclak. That is Tim Danko. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Tim Danko is this way. And you can find us all over the internet. We appreciate you guys for watching the Bro Plata podcast. We hope you enjoy UFC 251 this Saturday on ESPN Plus. Order it now. They haven't paid us for this, so we're just doing this out of the love for the game. And we appreciate everybody again. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you Monday for our breakdown of UFC 251. This has been the Bro Plata podcast. Thanks, guys. Have a great one. Why can't I stop the video? Why? Oh,